This tutorial is for 1D Part 1. You are asked to create a report that lists all the adults over 18 on the 1st of August 2015, and this needs to be listed by each church. So you'll list the church, then a list of campers, the next church, then a list of campers. In order to do this, we're going to need a query that will find these adults that are over 18 on the 1st of August. So we're going to create a query, and we usually just go for a straightforward query design, and we need the camper table. Now you can add all the fields on because we'll select which fields we want when it comes to the report, or we can just go for the full name, date of birth of each camper, but of course we do need the church ID as well because that is what is going to link to the church. Okay, so we'll go for the full name, the surname, date of birth and the church ID. Now it's the date of birth where we want to see whether that is 18 years old or not on the 1st of August 2015. So we need to add, or in fact subtract, 18 years from the date of birth and compare with that. And we will want this to be before 18 years ago. We want the date of birth to be before, or the same as, because they'll be 18 if it's on that date, so before or equal to, less than or equal to 18 years ago. And what we do is we use a function called dateAdd, and dateAdd will add values to a date. So we're going to add, and we're going to use years. So the first parameter that we put in is YYYY, which means years, and that goes in speech marks. It's going to add years to a date. Next we're going to subtract 18 years. So that's what minus 18 does, it will subtract 18 years. And the date that we want to add to or subtract from in this case is going to be the 1st of August, or I need to put it in speech marks, I have done, 1st of August 2015, and then we'll close those speech marks. I also need to close the brackets, and we'll just have a look at this again now. So what we've got is we've got the 1st of August 2015, we subtract 18 years from it in years, and then we're comparing that with the date of birth, and we want to find any dates of birth where they are on or before 18 years before the 18th of August, the 1st of August 2015. So we'll view that, and we can see these are the ones that we want. Now 2015, if we take 18 years off that, we're looking at around about 1997, so we shouldn't have anything after 1997 on here, except this one here, which is the 1st of August 1997, and that is used to prove that it has worked because it must be included, less than or equal to. So I can now save this query, and we'll call this query QRY, which always helps to notice a query, adult campers. Now what I can do is I can use this query to create the report itself. So to create a report, I'm going to go to close this down first of all. I'm going to go to create, and we're going to use report wizard, which is this button up here, and we need to look at which tables we want. Well, we've got to group it all by church, so we need some information about church, and it says we must have the church name and full name of the lead contact. So we'll put that in. So we'll put the church name and the full name of the lead contact. We also want our adult campers, but we're not going to choose the camper table because that will include all the campers. We want this query here for adult campers. So from there I'm going to choose forename, surname, date of birth. I don't want the church ID in there, but we know that it's been used to link to the church table. If I click on next, you'll see it's going to view it by church, so we'll have the church, then all the people in that church. I don't want any grouping, and we don't need to worry about order because we're not asked to do that. It would be nice if we had some summary options there, but we haven't on this case. Not quite sure why. It's possibly something to do with the way that we've used the query, but we can overcome that later. So I click on next. We now need to choose how we want our report to be laid out? Okay, well, outline always gives us a good layout of report, so we'll go for outline. And then we'll click on next again, and then it's got what do we want as a title for report. Well, I think we'll go for adult campers on 1st August 2015, or you could just call it adult campers. If we click on finish, we can have a look at what that looks like. So here we go, here's our adult campers. We've got a church, then we've got information about the campers. We've got a church, information about the campers. Church, information about the campers. Well, we ought to put this into house style, so we'll have a look at this. We'll close the print preview and we'll start changing a few things. So if we go to format, and because I haven't used Access I haven't used Access since the last time I changed the colours, I need to go in here and put the colour in again, and it was 238, 250, 180. Once I've done that, I can do that for all the other sections. Now, because we have repeating groups, sometimes it will do alternate lines in different colours. So if you get this option here, it says alternate row colour. Let me show you what it looks like before we do it. If we go to view, can you see the alternate rows in grey? So I'm going to make those alternate rows, go to format, be in that same colour. And I'll do the same for detail. And now when we look at it, those alternate rows are now in the same colour. Okay, so the report lists all the adults over 18 on 1st of August 2015. It's got all the data that's been asked for. We now just need to include the total number of campers for each church. Well, we can do this by looking at the grouping. So I'm going to click on group and sort, and you'll see down here that I have these options for group and sort. What we're going to do is if we click on more here, you'll see that we get some more options, and I'm going to put in an option so that we have a footer section that will add up everything for the church. So this is on the church ID, so that's the section that I've chosen, and I want to give the church ID a footer, which it hasn't got at the moment. So I'm going to add a footer section, and now you can see we've got a footer. Now what I can do is put the total number of campers. So I'm going to create a text box. We'll put it just here. Give it a label. Total campers. And then we've got to give it a function. Well, all we've got to do is count something. Okay, so I can count the surname, I can count the forename, I can count the date of birth. It doesn't matter as long as there's something in each of those fields. So I'm just going to count the surnames. Right, so it's in brackets, but square brackets for the surname. Now if we'll have a look at it, there's our report. Now the form footer has gone grey. That's because I haven't set the house style for that. I also haven't set the house style for things like the church name, church contact name. That needs to be black. This needs to be red, and everything needs to be in Times New Roman as well. Do remember to do those things. So what I'm going to do is just make sure that this footer has everything set as yellow. Make sure its alternate row colours are yellow as well. And then when we go back to view it, there we go, that's better. And that's your report completed. So you can print that, and then you've got to do your annotation showing how you did the queries and calculations, and it needs to be each part of the query and each part of the calculation.